The Wicked Avatar leaps back into action. We have Vices with a side of Tearlaments. And Ibn good stuff, along with some other interesting little brews for you today. You guys smash the evildoing crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. So this is actually really cool. We have Dreaming Nemorelia actually back at it again, kind of showcasing that, you know, this is a viable rogue option choice of all things for you to kind of mess around with. Now this is also what I love to see. This build is playing a Banquet of Millions. So this is where you pick up your entire extra deck, you throw it at the wall, and then your opponent is forced to also do the exact same thing. Just banish any number of cards from your extra deck face down, and banish the same number of random face down cards from your opponent's extra deck face up until the end phase. Now they do get all of those back, and you can only activate one of these per turn. Well, once again, I mean, if you blink your entire opponent's extra deck, you're probably going to win the game, all right? Like, that's just what it is. So basically what ends up happening here is you're basically playing a anti-meta strategy to kind of help you out along the way, and we have the Wicked Avatar in here to kind of help us out to be able to, you know, out anything that might be a problem, which is kind of crazy to think about here, because your overall synergy for this, everything that you've got flowing together here is just Nemorelia good stuff, a base line of Ecclesia. We also have, you know, Maximus to get a free little rip if need be, and some other little cute things along the way. Like most of this extra deck isn't really going to matter. Most of the utility options you're going to be pulling from are going to be, you know, in case you do see this and so forth. I also want to say here that this side deck is very, very anti-meta. There are a lot of things running around in the meta you don't necessarily want to run into, especially when the OCG is knees deep in Fire King the format, you know. So that's a lot to kind of take in. But I like the idea that we're being presented with here. The fact that you can try out all of these anti-meta cards, actually have it work, is amazing. Next up here, this is the first Tearlaments pile that I have seen in the OCG, looking like it's being a little bit successful after the death of the Millers. Now, for those of you that might not have the best memory, you have the memory of a goldfish out here. The Millers were the thing that made Tearlaments very, very scary. Well, what this build's trying to do here is we're playing Vices Samsara here to kind of, I guess, give this deck a little bit extra of a push. I mean, technically, Vices Samsara toggles on into Lionheart here, or Lightheart, which then you get to go down the sub-lines of play through this, which then gets you into a Vices Starfrost, and then, you know, you can trigger a Vices Starfrost, blow up something, and then, you know, we can trigger an effect. So that just means that we can kind of combo line up a little bit stronger than a lot of the other builds. I like the idea of actually being able to use Vices Samsara in a deck like this. I don't think a lot of people have really considered just the power that you kind of get with this. Now remember, with this being the OCG this week, Gloat Bulb, Fairy Tale Snow, and of course Curious down here are all cards that help make this deck into a much crazier, a much more ridiculous monster along the way. So that's, I guess it's your payoff out here. You do have more unique things to kind of help you out along the way. Also, this Horus package still facilitating the massive dump power and the slash extra power that you kind of get with this package. Let's call it what it is. The ability to filter through and do the mass setup of, you know, the free monsters. No Dumaltef needed, all right? Hoppy and Imseti will take care of everything that you need them to. Good stuff. This is broken. Next up here, we have, when was the last time that you saw somebody out here trying out a concept with World Chalice? I'll give you a hint. It wasn't really that existent. Now, the Just This cups are one of my favorite things to look at out here in the OCG. I believe that these are slightly more casual events where players can actually, oh, dare I say, have fun. And this is one of those key examples here of everything that we're doing here is to kind of facilitate making Justicar here. Justicar toggling on in to World Legacy success. You know all the former combo lines and things that you're trying to do out here. Now, you want to talk about going back in a time capsule here. This deck actually gets the chance to make Borreload Savage Dragon as its ingredient of OTK factor, and with this being the OCG, they actually get access to the Brilliant Fusion, so you can actually make the Seraph Knight here. So you can actually hard make the World Chalice. Yes, this stupid brick actually... Yes, our little brick actually gets the job done for this deck, actually kind of helping us out with the overall structuring for this. Also, World Legacy Star, it's not a very often that you get the chance to see this. But overall, I like what we're seeing here. This deck feels, if you want to play something fun and you want to, you know, try out some World Chalice just to kind of go back and experience the fun memories that we've all had with this deck, I think this is a good opportunity to do so. Next up here, holy moly. So this is what happens when we take, what is this, Dragon Rulers? Mythic Dragons? I have not seen the Mythic Water Dragons seeing play at all. Remember, this is just if you control an Earth, you can special summon this thing from your hand, and it is a level 8. You know, the last time, it has been so long since we've actually had this thing come up. So, I mean, if you got a Redox up, you bring this thing on up. You're kind of able to do your thing. Also, this does work with the Beast King Barbaros. You're able to kind of, with the cheese things out here, I guess is the moral of the story, because what is this? The Barbaros plus the Mythic Water gets you into a rank 8 and you're off to the races. We are actually getting the chance to play the Blaze Supreme Ruler of Dragons. Now, this is the once return detach one from this card, destroy a card in your hand or field and a card your opponent controls. And you can banish up to 2 dragon and or fire monsters from your hand or graveyard to recur this thing back to the field, but it returns to the extra deck when it leaves the field. So, you know, if you were thinking about making some quick link plays, yes, you can do so. It's just, if, you know, you're like, oh, I can revive this on a further turn. No, you're not going to get the chance to. They actually proofread this thing pretty well and actually made sure that nobody would get the chance to abuse this. Also, shout out to the one of Skill Drain in here, still being a quite the little stinker for this deck. So overall, I like this yet again. Next up here, we have Pendulums. Yes, finally, we have some of the little Magispector stuff out here actually getting some playtime. Now, this is actually kind of cool because see that we have a Promethean Princess down here as well. And you already know that we can revive Electromite with this because special summon except for fire monsters, special summon a fire monster from your graveyard. So you can actually revive this stupid Electromite, and then congratulations, you get a free little link climb, and you get to move on along with your day. Yeah, it's actually kind of that stupid. Little things you can do. Now, this build is actually doing the little field spell operations here with the Pendulum Sorcerer. Basically what ends up happening is you can scale the Pendulum Sorcerer, use one of the field cells to special summon it, and then go ahead and trigger Pendulum Sorcerer's effect to basically blow up this and the Pendulum Sorcerer to get your Search 2, which gets your foot in the door to kind of start up some of the initial combos that you want to go down here. Now, of course, they're basically just playing the rest of the Perform a Pal Good Stuff package here to kind of get you down your lines of play. It's actually kind of interesting that Perform a Pal is the base of this deck, and it's able to work out relatively well for this. But once again, hey, you know, Pendulums, anytime that you can get the chance to actually use Electromite, you may as well consider it because it's actually really, really cool to see. Our last list today is actually an OCG Runic list that caught my attention. You know, with the floodgates floating up back here, you know, and, well, less stronger numbers, you kind of got to take a step back and go, huh, you know, what can we do to try to alleviate some of this stuff? Well, that's where you have the Vanity's Fiend here to set up a walking, talking floodgate to punish your opponent. This is actually really cool because this list also gets to play Dimensional Fissure as a 2-of here. So in case, you know, you need to start scraping opponent's monsters off of the wall, this actually assists you in doing that. Yeah, the Fire Kings aren't going to like this card at all. I also see post-side decking down here. We actually can bring in Deck Lockdown and further punish the opponent. Yes, Deck Lockdown actually getting some major playtime in here. Now, with Fountain Limited you kind of got to look to some other options. Maybe, you know, things aren't going the greatest out here. That's why we have Necro Valley here as a little sub option. You know, you go ahead and deploy this. You've not only put extra pressure on your opponent, but now you'll probably go into a pretty good position along the way. I'll be honest with you, I like this list a lot. I think that this gives some interesting ideas as to the differences of things that you can kind of try out here. You got to remember, trying out different things and different innovations can put you into a much more advantageous position. So what do you guys think of these lists this week? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.